Okay, with the Russian war being scaled back in Syria, that's another thing, okay, about Russia. It seems like they really are making a push here to say, to secure some kind of a prosperous median standard for the Russian people. Now, again, like I said, these people are the most rebellious on earth when it comes to, like, regulations they feel are unnecessary pertaining to anything. It's like, what? Fuck your Yankee blue jeans. But, like I said, it seems like, they're actually trying to get that to be their goal. And, economically, there's something else I've been thinking about. I would like to live in a world where fishermen can pay off their boats years and years before they need new ones. Now, again, how to get there? Who knows? Maybe some kind of a subsidy to boat manufacturers? Anyway, the point is, it isn't easy for, like the guy who's selling sugarcane in Mexico to get enough money to pay the farmers. The international system of commodities in agriculture just does not work for third world farmers. It doesn't help them very much at all. I guess for everybody in the service industry, it makes food really cheap and easy to get, but, well, like I said, I think more needs to be done, to actually, privatize that market and pay at an American scale. Now, that's something else. It's like, okay, the darn seasonal agriculture work, harvesters, that kind of thing, that system of migrant agrarians within Mexico, not even, like to the United States. Like some guy who lives in the Chihuahua Hills goes and moves to Chichen Itza for the harvest. Anyway, that system needs to be scaled up, okay? Now, the differential is what causes American apprehensions. Frankly, every time of the year of a harvest, there should be as many people as it takes to do the job in one day or something. And again, like I said, agricultural workers, the system of migrant agrarians in Mexico could be integrated almost seamlessly with the American system, throughout the south central United States. You've got all kinds of farming that historically for centuries has been done by migrants. But, like I said, there's a social problem in Mexico where they either hate farmers or fail in competence to serve them. But until these farmers are given the kind of living they need in Mexico, then, we really can't subject American farmers to that kind of competition. It's like American farming is practically slave labor. American clothing industry is practically slave labor. It shouldn't be that way. I've talked about regulatory burdens and debt loads on farmers, and then I just now made reference to the same thing with fishing. We need to get the large trawlers out of the water and replace them with a million little ones. We need an economic system that gets these fishermen paid quickly enough to upgrade their boats, like I said. And we need a recycling system that takes any boat that has refrigeration that can be restored to Cadillac new and, like maybe donates it to Somalians or something. Anyway, like I said, none of this is very important to me in my day-to-day existence, but it's something I'm certainly thinking about a lot. Now, like I said, I would like for Russia to become more of an ally with the United States. You know, what I want from the Russian people is space technology. You know, let's see, I think that's another thing I've been hearing a lot about. Okay, look, I want to keep Obamacare. It's like, I would like Obama's legacy to be that he made all the changes that were necessary to where it cost the middle class less and served the poor more easily. And, you know, like, his legacy was kind of bringing that into line and getting it fixed. I mean, like I said, I still believe that socialized healthcare is a good thing. It's a noble profession, and it should be made available to, you know, like the plebes, the nobodies, you know, just anybody who walks in. Oh yeah, we'll fuck with you. And, you know, that's how medicine should be done. Speaking of which, education. It's all well and good to fund private schools, but there needs to be some sort of a centralization process where, you know, where private schools are being asked to make investments in public schools. I know it doesn't make sense, but, you know, it's like the post office. You can't just get rid of, you know, like the public one, because it actually has its roots in proto-culture. Okay? You know, a school is like a proto-church, which is a proto-courthouse. And, you know, like I said, so we're going to need, you know, ways of encouraging, you know, the success of these private schools to translate to the success of local public schools. And again, like I said, I think Vladimir Putin could be a much bigger ally, but, well, like I said, I would like to hear more of these speeches about ending corruption and putting people back to work. I'd like to hear more of these speeches here in America about Russian industry and Russian economic drivers, you know, actually reaching the people. Now, you know, that's the same thing with China. China is an incredibly modern nation, but its middle class just isn't inclusive. You know, it's hard to, you know, build a world where, you know, like farmers in the middle of nowhere can make a living. It really is. And, you know, like I said, the global market wants to value their contributions and the things they produce at nothing. And then just, you know, do that in alternation. And I don't agree with it. Now, I also kind of have, again, this is reruns from the stuff I was saying years ago, but I kind of have aught with the Russians on a personal level for siding with Ethiopia in the attempted reunification of Somalia. But, again, that's not, you know, as a matter of policy disagreement. That's more of a personal thing. And, well, I don't know. Like I said, I think that, you know, for Somalia, I hope they can find a way to, convince the northern province to involve itself, share the wealth, and modernize the nation with it. You know, but, like I said, I would give up on reunifying the West. I would try and say, economically, that should be treated as, you know, like a protectorate, like Patagonia, you know, between Zimbabwe. I mean, most of that's farmland. And like all of the farmland in rural Somalia, it's in desperate need of modernization. And, you know, I guess that, well, like I said, a lot of things are happening here politically, and I think we really have a chance, you know, to make peace in the world and prosperity for the common man. You know, prosperity for the farmer, prosperity for the miner, the existence of the manufacturing jobs. Now, like I said, in Russia, I think the United States policies should be geared toward, legitimate Russian enterprises, like how can they, when everybody refuses to pay taxes, how is the state supposed to function? Again, like I said, we haven't heard very many of these speeches by Vladimir Putin about opening the factories, putting everybody back to work, and generating the will politically to prosper as a nation. But I am expecting to hear more of that, and, well, like I said, I think that, I'm not really that skeptical about Russia. It's like I don't really think, they're like our historic enemy, but I don't think that, they're down with the sickness. I think the plan for Russia's tomorrow, well, like I said, I think that in Russia, avoiding corruption, avoiding, well, you know what I'm saying. It's like by the books. When Russia does stuff by the books, they really do things well because they're great at writing books. But, it's like I said, their system is has all of these Aboriginal hunters, grandfathered into it. It's like, and what do you do if, well, you know what I'm saying. Like I said, Russia is a society of individuals. And when they are compelled to work as a team, they're a very good team. But they really have this independent streak about them. It's like every little village in Russia, is like, I don't know. Well, like I said, I want to see more and better. And, like I said, Vladimir Putin, he really seems to be ramping up his efforts. Now, as Americans, you gotta be real careful about these people, because they're clever and mean. Russians are clever and mean. But, again, more prosperity for Russia means more prosperity for us, and frankly, when you come right down to it, our space program was a group of Russian and German immigrants playing with our stuff. And, well, like I said, those were the good old days. Why can't we be back to that after World War II, but before the Cold War? Like I said, those were the good old days. All of mankind was making progress. And then one day they decided to, stop making progress and just be fat instead or something. I don't know. Like I said, politically, our leaders have lost their way something fierce. And, I'm really looking at this as being, a perfect opportunity to surprise everyone by doing the right thing for every goddamn one of these politicians. And I hope they do.